Patricia Murray-Chute is a woman with so many talents. She was a nurse for half a century, 50 years. That is some milestone. She is also a life coach and an author. Welcome.
Thank you very much for asking me, Karen.
Patricia, I love having you here today, and we've talked a lot about good health, and especially for the over 50s. What do you believe are the essence for good health?
Well, when I met you, it was through your book, Aging Fearlessly. And I think if you want to age fearlessly, you really have to have fairly good health. I think it's it's one of the building blocks that we have to think about. You can't just be a potato couch, a couch potato.
A potato couch, we don't mind. I'd like to see a potato couch.
I saw a lipstick one once. But, what we put into life, we get out, don't we?
Yeah, and good health, it's just not about eating, is it?
No, I think we do have to be careful what we eat, because what we eat today walks and talks tomorrow. But exercise is another vital component, I feel.
I have to just add in the little saying that I've heard: past the lips, a lifetime on the hips.
Yes, indeed. But we all love good food, don't we?
Well, we love good food, and sometimes we like a lot of sweet food, which we really know is not great for our health. So other than eating, what do you believe are some of the major things we need to look at for good health?
Well, as I said, exercise I think is important, but also keeping the mind active. I think it's very important to keep an open mind, to keep up with what's going on in life with younger people, with an understanding of some technology. I don't expect, every octogenarian to be a computer sort of nerd, but I think, if you've got a mobile phone, it helps, and if you can understand what your children and grandchildren are talking about, that does help.
Actually, my mum at 89 does have a computer, and she does look at Facebook. And it's through her grandchildren that she's learnt to be able to use technology. So it's a great thing to connect that younger generation with their grandparents.
That's wonderful. I agree with you there. And the same in our family. And as you say, with something like Facebook, I thought when Facebook first came out, it was very antisocial. But if you've got grandchildren, and I've got 10 step-great-grandchildren, and they're scattered everywhere, well, if you're on a Facebook group, and it doesn't have to be public, you can have a private group.
Yeah, that's right.
You can keep up with them all, where you wouldn't phone each individual person with the same news, and you'd be bored to tears repeating yourself.
Yeah, I know my mum follows the travel journeys of my nieces and their husbands and partners, and she's able to make comment, I wish I'd gone there, or I've been there, so that's great.
And see the photographs.
And absolutely, and jolt memories. What about the brain?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do to help the brain. I mean, there's the easy peasy crosswords, then there's Sudoku or whatever it is, if you've got the mathematical thing. But things like music, in fact, I went to the brain and its, the mind and its potential seminars, and they've proven on MRIs and brain scans that if you play music, you actually grow your brain. And even more astonishing to me was the fact if you think about music and pretend that you're practicing scales on a piano, you can see the brain improve.
Is that real?
Absolutely. And they've done this with athletes as well. They've measured athletes when they actually sort of do the hurdles or whatever it is, and the sort of test a group where they don't do anything, and then a group who imagine it in their mind's eye and sort of make this mental video of sort of running down the track and hurdling, and their brains, not as much as the ones who physically do it, but it's commensurate with the active group.
So playing my imaginary saxophone
Absolutely.
is a really good thing, because I love the saxophone.
And much nicer for the neighbours. Oh, no, you're probably a very good saxophone player, I'm sorry.
I'm definitely not a good saxophone player, but I reckon imagination would be, I'd be perfect. They'd have me in the opera house
My husband teaches saxophone, I can tell you. It's not always fabulous.
I love the saxophone. It's sexy saxophone.
It is. Yes.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yes.
So we've talked about diet, we've talked about exercise, and what about friends?
Very important. If you've not got friends, then that's a poverty in itself, isn't it? And it's a very outgoing thing. If you say you've got no friends, go out and do some volunteering somewhere. Babysit someone. There are things called hospital grannies for these children whose parents live in the country maybe and can't visit them all the time through work or distance and finance. And a friend of mine was a hospital granny at Prince of Wales, and she used to go and sit and read to these children, and it was just wonderful. And it gave her a great deal, but it gave the children so much more.
Unfortunately, with friends, some of us as we get older, we lose our friends because they pass away. But what I've also learnt by joining different groups, like you're saying, it's great to expand and find new friends that add interests and can share other experiences with you. So it's always great to, in my view, to grow your friendship groups. You can have a lot of friends.
Yes.
You'll always have your close friends, but it's also great to expand on that group.
Very much.
So have you got any other tips for us? Variety. You've talked about quite a few things here. Is there anything else that you'd like to add to that?
Well, since I've retired, I've done a lot more work with Toastmasters. And it's not just our group, the Cranbrook Toastmaster Club, but we did youth leadership programs for the boys in school. And you'd get, 20, 22 boys in year 10 who you'd ask them to, do a little bit of public speaking. And they'd start off scratching their hands in pockets and all this fidgeting and everything. At the end of about 8-10 weeks, they could stand up, they could chair a meeting, they could make a 3-minute speech without notes, they could evaluate their friends' speeches. It was absolutely remarkable.
Yeah, and I love Toastmasters, and I'm part of the DY Toastmasters.
Are you?
Yeah, and I really enjoy. In fact, I'm giving a speech tomorrow night.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, about ageing is inevitable.
Well, yes.
However, growing old's a choice.
That's right.
Patricia Murray-Chute, it is absolutely wonderful that you've come to join me here and talk about health and the over 50s, so thank you very much.
My pleasure.
This is Patricia Murray-Chute, a wonderful nurse, author and life coach.
Thank you.